We are commercial landlords by and large, but this for us is a bit of a departure. Wrest Park was a nice opportunity to get involved in office space. So we looked into serviced office space in the market. Primarily, although no one will ever say this is why they signed on the dotted line, I think the environment is actually the biggest draw. And there's two sides to that. One is it's an extremely peaceful environment. It's not an industrial environment, although we do have warehouse space. It's actually quiet and it's a nice mix with office space. But it's tree-lined, there are woods around, you can walk for miles around if you want in your lunch break. And it's nice to look out on some green space instead of somebody's factory or rooftops or that kind of thing. And the other thing is that, yeah, we're in rural Bedfordshire, but we're not actually very far from anywhere. In fact, we're probably within half a mile of the very centre of Bedfordshire. So you can get on the M1, you can get on the A1, you can get on the A6. Whilst at first glance you might think we're in the middle of nowhere, we're actually very, very convenient. This site was one of the best kept secrets in as much as it was a research institute. No one knew it existed. What we had to do was put ourselves on the map, but also we were a new start business. We had to create an image, we had to actually get people to visit the site and see what we had, and we're quite varied down here in what we do. Being a business centre, we were able to offer meeting space, so we hosted networking groups, we invited organisations to come and put on meetings and training sessions. And that was a bit of a window for us because they came, they tried it, and they liked it. We've got quite a broad variety of businesses. You could start with something like Autotech Controls. They do control systems for the automotive industry, things like conveyor systems for car parts, that kind of thing, which is on a huge scale. Then you also have at the opposite end of that scale Morrison's MOT station. So local guy, very well known in the area, decided he wanted to set up in his own backyard and doing extremely well. And of course, piggybacking from the number of businesses here, he does a lot of work for a lot of the people who work on site. Another really interesting and quirky business we've got here is Read Comics, office-based, previously worked from home, I believe, for quite a long time, and just have become huge. It's internet-based mostly. They do graphic novels, as the title might suggest, and they do all sorts of things as well, all the paraphernalia that goes with it. GR Scientific were one of our first tenants on site here, and they've grown exponentially as new markets have opened up, but they work in the petrochemicals industry and they supply testing kits. Being in a rural community, we're always classed as rural broadband, no demand, etc. But you know, we're a serviced office provider, we're a business premise provider, we provide industrial units. They want the fastest broadband that they can get, so we've had that obstacle to overcome. We've worked quite closely with Central Bedfordshire's Economic Growth Unit, and we hosted a business clinic here in the latter part of last year. One of the things that we found was that it was fully subscribed, and the majority of that was actually from our internal clients, which was excellent. It just shows what the value is in that. I think a lot of our clients benefited enormously, but we also attended the clinic as a business. You know, being a relatively new start business, you always want to know what else you could be doing. They were able to analyse what we were doing, analyse what our strengths were and where we'd had the success, and then look at the business model and say, well, there's a market here you might not have considered, and this is how you can add that value, and suggestions on how to put it into practice. And we took that away and we did that. In fact, looking at the model, we had the incubator site, which was the original enterprise centre, and the added value is the market we've now grown into, which is Capability House, where we're stood. When the businesses that we have grow, we want to make sure that we can still accommodate them, and this site actually has that extra space. So if you go from being a one-person business and you start to take on staff, you can very, very quickly need much more space. This type of environment can accommodate all things, and we took that on board and we've moved in. It's been a long haul, 9 months of investment, and we've recently launched out as the extension of the original enterprise centre with a conference facility. So we've gone for the things that we didn't do that were pointed out as the new market. I look forward to the results.